base hit by a pitch, RBI single. Los Dantos is rolling.
It's been a couple of big innings now for Los Dantos. Emmanuel Trujillo looking to continue that. He's already got 3 RBIs in this game on 2 hits. The most dangerous man, arguably, in this lineup right now. Although that man, Benjamin Alegria, probably just put himself right at the top as well. Average up to 417 for Trujillo. And the 1-0 from Cruz. Hard hit left side, knocked down by Sanchez. He's got to make a big throw, and he doesn't make it. He bobbled the ball, and I guess felt like he didn't have enough time to make the throw. Another run's going to come across in Brandon Layton, and it's 10-6 Los Dantos.
The panic just came in on Sanchez. This ball shot at the third baseman, and he's playing deep. He has so much range there. It's right at him. He knocks it down. It looks like he thought about going to second. Panicked, had no chance then to make the play at first base. So that's just one of those instances where he knows, Sanchez knows it. If their ball gets knocked down, take it across the diamond, throw to first. But instead, it was just that shuffle of maybe he also didn't get a good grip on it either.
Well, it brings back up William Rayo. Hit twice in the 4th and now here in the 5th. Here's another look at that. Knocked it down. Stumbled a little bit. Tried to go to second, like you said, Trevor. And then by the time he realized he needs to go to first, it was too late. Does go down as an error. And now drilled to the shortstop. Mateo makes the play and is able to get it over to Ramon to second. And finally, mercifully, the inning ends. 3 more runs come across for Dantos. They extend the lead. Cuban and the Crocodiles trying to find it in the 6th. We'll be right back.
Content creators, imagine if you could skip hours of editing. With Canva, you
in between the Dantos and the Crocodiles. Nicaragua facing off with Cuba. And it is Jorge Mercado back out for another inning of work. He's pitched 2 pretty well so far here. He gets 6, 7, and 8 due up in this Crocodiles lineup. And Trevor, they're going to have to start digging. We're getting into the later stage of this game.
Yeah, especially after a couple of crooked innings for Los Dantos. And again, it was a 5-run top of the 4th inning where it seemed like the Crocodiles were going to start taking control, but then they lost it and haven't been able to get that momentum back. And the big thing is about this too is the shutdown inning. That top of the 5th, putting up a 0 from Picardo, that is so imperative, especially going forward. And we're going to see if the Crocodiles can match that on their pitching side.
So 1-1 now to Andres Perez, who is 2 for 2 today. And the pitching really has been strong for Los Dantos. I mean, you take away that 4th inning by Leo Crawford. He pitched 3 very well, just giving up 1 run in that 1st inning. And now Picardo in relief has looked incredibly strong. And there's a swing and a miss to even the count at 2-2. Perez a part of that big 4-run spot for the Crocodiles. Definitely their biggest moment where 5 of their runs came across. And he swings and into the glove for strike 3. Andres Perez goes down. That's back-to-back strikeouts dating to last inning for Picardo.
Just keeping things where he left off. That is just a disgusting changeup. Just yanks the string back on it. You have these hitters out in front so much, they just haven't been able to find their timing.
You saw Perez shaking his head. He couldn't believe it. Just better execution there by Picardo. He's feeling himself. Here's a high chopper over to short. Leighton able to field it. Throws it across in time. 2 quick ones for Picardo and the Dantos.
That's also part of it, too. Even the strikeouts have been quick. He's not messing around. He's only 34 pitches, and this is the big deal. 26 of those have been strikes. He's not messing around in the strike zone. He's going right after hitters. And again, if he's not getting strikeouts, he's forcing the weak contact. So it really does become Picardo is in control, and he's been the perfect bridge to get through into these middle innings.
Well, we have seen a lot of action in this game from both sides with 2 outs. As recently as this last half inning for the Dantos, where Bryant Ruiz hit that big home run with 2 outs after the double play, and they were able to push across 2 more. Both teams scoring in the 1st inning with 2 outs as well. So let's see if the Crocodiles at the bottom of the order can put something together. Fouls that one off the foot is Luis Sanchez. Been a tough day at the plate for him. He's 0 for 2, grounded into a double play in the 2nd, struck out in the 4th.
It also says something where you're able to have the short defensive innings and the long offensive innings.
That is true. It's nice to get your guys out in the field for just a short amount of time and then be able to just get right back to work at the plate. And the opposite is true for the Crocodiles. You go out there for a long time, you just get back in the dugout, and you got to go back out in the field again. It's another ground ball to short. Fielded cleanly by Leighton, and that is going to end the inning. Back-to-back 1-2-3s for Jorge Picardo. He is looking good through 6. Dantos up by 4. We're heading to the bottom of the inning. Howdy, Alfredo Harpilu here in Mexico City. Got a great matchup happening in our nightcap between the Crocodiles and the Dantos. Bottom of the 6th. Dantos been able to extend their lead in the 5th, looking to make it even bigger. Starting with William Rayo, who seems to have been kicking off innings quite well today. He's reached all 3 times. He's 2 for 2. Drops in a breaking ball there. Shael Cruz for strike 1. The lead is stretched to 4 for the Dantos as this one's chopped to third base. Nicely played by Sanchez. Loses it for a minute, but still able to recover and get the out. It's good redemption for him after the error at the end of that 5th inning to get himself back on pace defensively.
Now life comes at you fast at the hot corner, and this one isn't all that blistered. It still takes a kind of an interesting second bounce, and it had the snow cone, was able to stay with it just enough to reach down, pitch a fork at it, and fire it across the diamond.
Got to have poise and control. Last thing you want to do on a play like that is panic and then airmail one and make a bad situation worse. Really good recovery there by Sanchez. And now Shael Cruz will have his hands full with Omar Mendoza. Reached on a fielder's choice and came around to score in that big 4th inning for the Dantos. Other than that, he had a base hit back in the 2nd. He is quickly ahead in this count, 3-0. Cruz is wasting no time. He is stepping right up on the mound and delivering. Taking all the way, but finding the strike zone on that outside edge. Makes it 3-1. And now poking one into right field and down for a base hit. 2nd hit of the day for Omar Mendoza. And the Dantos starting to cook again. 5th player on the team with 2 hits in this game. And excuse me, that was Ofelio Castro who picked up that single. His 2nd hit of the game. So that'll bring up Leonardo Ortiz. Trying to poke on that inside edge is Shael Cruz, unable to hit. And that'll be ball 1. Ortiz started his day off with 2 singles. Came around and scored in that 4th inning. He's 2 for 3. And blast this one into left field, down for a base hit. Back-to-back singles for the Dantos. 3rd hit of the game now for Ortiz.
How about the bottom of this order? They have really done well to not just kind of continue innings, but really spark plug that top of the lineup too. I mean, this is what exactly you're looking for from the bottom of any part of your lineup card.
Well, you talked about it in that 5th inning, Trevor, the double play Ortiz grounded into. This time he gets a single, and Ruiz, who hit a homer, now has a chance to make a big impact with runners at 1st and 2nd. And he does just that with a little blip into right center field. That is going to score 1 run as Castro comes around and scores. And now the Dantos with runners at 2nd and 3rd and push the lead to 11-6.
Ruiz having himself a day. Home run in the last inning, and then gets a good pitch to hit and just flips it the other way. It's not hit all that hard, but it's more about placement than exit velocity. Yeah, it's a breaking ball that's about a pitch off the plate. Able to cap it into right center field, and with all that real estate and his speed, he's able to take the turn and get himself another ribby.
And that will end the night of Shael Cruz. So once again, the Crocodiles dipping into the bullpen, looking for an answer. But Dantos still threatening, runners at 2nd and 3rd, and just the 1 out. Looking for more in the bottom of the 6th. Bryant Ruiz second, and now Bismarck Rivera joins them over at first. So Ruiz takes another pitch. It evens the count at 1. Once again, a bases loaded jam for the Crocodiles. Having to try to dig deep, and it always seems to come right in the meat of this order. As Leighton fouls one off.
"16 hits for Los Dantos so far. They've been rolling.
And finally, the run production starting to show that. At one point, they had 7 hits and just 1 run. 1-2, and Leighton turns on this one. It's high. Does it have the distance? Drifting back, looking up, leaping, and gone. A grand slam home run for Brandon Leighton. And this game has gotten opened up for Los Dantos.
That's a little altitude shot. That ball is skied. A launch angle of 47 degrees in almost every other ballpark in the world. That is just a routine fly out to left, but instead it travels 343 feet. That one is kissing the clouds on its descent. I mean, look at the way he has to get this ball. It almost like he's just popping it up, and he doesn't look very convinced when he puts it in the air, but it just keeps on flying and hits a little fence scraper. And their reaction says it all.
That doesn't happen. That's the elevation, probably in the biggest way we've seen it so far in this tournament. But the talents of Brandon Leighton on this Dantos team continues to flash. That was his second, third, fourth, and fifth RBI in this game, and he has just produced since game 1 on this Dantos team. And it has opened up 15-6. And they might not be done, just 1 out, and they're still at Benjamin Alegria, the 3-hitter, who's reached 3 times in a row. This one softly grounded to second. Ramon fields it cleanly, flips over to first, and a great stretch by Noronha. That was almost some trouble. It's a nice pitch by Estonza. Just drifts to the outside, and he gets that weak contact, but a bit of a wild throw there by Ramon. Look at that. Full extension to stay on the bag.
How long would it take for your legs to recover after doing something like that?
You'd need an ambulance. And at least a couple people to help me to my feet. Second time in this game, all 9 hitters have come up for the Dantos. Emmanuel Trujillo, the 9th man to the dish here in the 6th.
It's almost like these baseballs have helium inflated in them, the way they're kind of carrying out.
This one popped up. Chasing in, and it drops right in the middle. A barehanded grab by Ramon. Ends up being a smart play instead of trying to make a risky grab. And that's how the inning ends. Grand slam action by Brandon Leighton in the Dantos. And this one is on its side now, 15-6. We'll be right back. was dealing with just an inning ago. And the Dantos have certainly been pouring it on. It was a 6-run frame in the 4th. Followed that up by a 3-run frame in the 5th. And then the 6th inning, popping off for 5 runs with that grand slam. Meanwhile, on the other side defensively, it looks like Jorge Picardo continuing to roll. He has retired 7 straight crocodiles. He tries to go after Esteban Terry.
And the pitch count's been so good, so why not continue it?
Well, the old saying is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. As he gets ahead 0-2, and that's certainly for an old Garth and what he is deciding to do with his team. He's got to be pleased the way it's going so far, but we know crooked numbers happen. Hitting's contagious, and it's 9 runs, but it is far from impossible. We've already seen a 10-run frame today. This one's fouled off. Esteban Terry staying alive.
This has been the most efficient pitching that we've seen so far in this tournament from Picardo. Into that pitch, he's thrown 39 pitches, now at 40. All but 9 have been balls. Or strikes, I beg your pardon.
He's been rolling. And he continues. Another strikeout for Jorge Picardo, his 3rd of the game, and make it 8 straight retired.
That's a nice little slider. Spins it around. Whoop. There it goes.
Since he's entered the game, he's allowed 1 single to the man that's coming up right now, Yulieski Ramon. It was a 2 RBI single back in that 4th inning. He's retired every other crocodile besides that. Let's see if he can get this one back here in the 7th. He is absolutely rolling. You can just tell when a pitcher has a groove. Steps right up, gets ready to go. In and out of the hands. Here's the 0-1. Just missing on that outside edge. Evens it up at 1. .500 hitter in this tournament is Yulieski Ramon. He's been good as he takes a big hack on that slicing ball to the outside to make it 1-2. The stuff is just there for Jorge Picardo. And he gets a big swing there. How about back-to-back strikeouts? Picardo picks up strikeout number 4 and retires his 9th straight crocodile.
It goes with a gas. 88 miles an hour, runs it up the table. Oh, no chance after just peppering him with fastball after fastball after fastball. That is a man who is in complete control.
Well, you can call him Steve Irwin. He's crocodile hunting, Trevor. No doubt about it.
Is.
And already ahead 0-1 on Luis Mateo. Yet to find a hit here in this Baseball Champion League. He's 0 for 3 today. Missing with that fastball on the outside. Evens up the count at 1. And I know we already talked about it, but Leo Crawford pitched 3 innings so well as well. I mean, if you take away that 4th inning, this has really been pitching dominance between Crawford and Jorge Picardo now. I would say overall, Trevor, the best pitching we've seen as a combined total in this tournament.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say that 4th inning was all that terrible. It was just a little bit of seeing eye singles, even though the ball was hit hard. I mean, this turf plays everything so fast, but they're able to get out of the jam and then immediately shut down after that, after tying and then taking the lead.
Well, here's the 1-2. Misses high, and darting out of the way there was Mateo. Somebody in this crocodile lineup needs to be the spark, needs to be the one that starts to get to Picardo, maybe knocks him out of the game, and changes the pace. Mateo skies this one, right field, and everybody's going to watch it drop foul. That was the 50th pitch for Jorge Picardo.
And when you're just working out of the windups for so long, it just feels like you're just rolling along. Once that first base runner gets on base, you might see a little bit of that change of scenery, but really he's just been in the stretch the entire time, so it hasn't really changed anything. But just having nobody on base, no one to even think about except for the hitter, just makes your life so much easier.
Gets to be on that one-track mind. Back up the middle, and Picardo fields it cleanly. He's doing it everything for Dantos on the defensive side. 10 straight retired, and Jorge Picardo's feeling it. We're stretching here at Estadio Alfredo Harpilu. We'll be right back with the Dantos in the bottom of the 7th. Everybody just looking up, and when it rains, it continues to pour. William Rayo with a solo shot to lead off the bottom of the 7th.
That's grown folks territory. Counted up 450 off the bat of 101. That launch angle, that's going to play everywhere. Ball was just smashed. A little stamp shot from William Rayo. You're waiting for him to once again put a big swing on it. It's his second home run of the tournament, second RBI of the day, and now he's just a triple shy of the cycle, and the way things are going, he might have an opportunity to pop it.
Could absolutely be the case, and you mentioned it. I mean, William Rayo, a huge part of that win on Game 1 against the Brothers, disappeared when they had to play the Diablos, but now he is back with a force in this one.
I mean, the way the standings are looking like, as well, as long as this game ends the way it looks like it's going to end, a 10-run lead for Dantos. I mean, it puts right now King County at number 1, and then Dantos, they slot in at number 2. They're 2-1. That means King County's the only undefeated team currently in the tournament, and that just puts a whole wrench into what we could think of could be going forward.
Meanwhile, it's 3 straight strikes coming from Estonza to strike out Omar Mendoza. So a nice response, and it certainly makes things interesting tomorrow. The Cougars will take on this Cuban team in the afternoon slot, and there's a strike into Ofelio Castro. And quickly down 0-2, so quick work from William Rayo, but we will see Diablos taking on the Brothers team. So if Diablos is able to win in that late night slot, all of a sudden they're also 2-1 with a win over this Nicaraguan team.
Yeah, I mean, it really does come down to what happens tomorrow. We'll see Kane County obviously play in the early afternoon, and then we'll see the nightcap. But then it really does put a big emphasis on what Saturday is going to look like. And, we talked about it at lunch today. We're not really going to know what the standings are going to shape out to be until tomorrow.
Ofelio Castro down on strike, so after giving up the leadoff home run, Noel Luis Estanza able to strike out back-to-back batters.
Well, the head-to-heads are what makes things so interesting because Los Dantos losing to Diablos Rojos, Kane County beating Diablos Rojos, and there's a point where we could see a couple of teams having 3 wins under their belt, but then you have to do the card shuffle to figure out where they're at.
Another strike pumped in against Leonardo Ortiz. It's almost like something off that home run woke up Noel Luis Estanza. But you're absolutely right, and it's something that, luckily, we don't have to worry about right this minute. I think some of that's going to reveal itself come tomorrow. A couple of big games slated in. Foul tip there by Ortiz makes it 1-2. But one thing's for sure, this Dantos team, after losing to the Diablos, had a big comeback effort and weren't able to make it. Didn't get down on themselves, and they came out here and really put together what is looking like a statement win against this Cuban team.
Well, there's still a couple of innings to play. And 10 runs, while it does seem like it is a bundle, I mean, we've already seen 5 and 6 runs on that scoreboard already today. And Los Dantos already put up 5 runs and 6 runs over the course of the last few innings.
Oh, no, we have the firepower. This Crocodile team. We've seen it on display just in this game as well as their game against the Brothers. And a loss doesn't mean they're out. They sit at 1-1. They have a big game against Kane County tomorrow. If they can find a way to win, they can still be in the fold at 2-1. Here's a ground ball to the left side. It is Mateo fielding it cleanly, tossing across for out number 3. So the leadoff home run, all we see here in the bottom of the 7th, but it does extend this lead to 10 runs for Dantos. We'll go to the top of the 8th. Crocodiles chasing 10. All they have left for this Cuban Crocodile team, and they will have to continue to go off against Jorge Mercado, who has just looked extremely sharp in this one. He's had only 51 pitches, and he will have to go through the heart of this Crocodile order. It feels like if there's going to be a stand to be made, this might be where it is. It's Eduardo Blanco, Yasiel Gonzalez, and Jose Noronha. And it's 1-1. Three at-bats, but officially only 0 for 1 for Eduardo Blanco. He reached on a walk twice, came around and scored twice. And he gets ahead of Jorge Bocardo, 2-1. Been 4 straight innings of scores for the Dantos. 4 straight innings, I should say 3 straight innings of scoreless as a bat goes flying up the middle. Picardo had to dive out of the way. Meanwhile, the ball trickles to second base, and Alegria makes the play. That is dangerous stuff when you get that many shards flying out into the infield.
And that's the maple bat right there. That ball is just blistered off his hands.
And Blanco couldn't believe it. He felt like he barreled it up. But, I mean, that bat was absolutely shattered. Luckily, looks like none of it struck Jorge Picardo.
And that's why the major leagues forced the ink dot test on all maple bats. Because of how dangerous they are when they actually break. Like, unlike ash where it splinters, maple explodes.
Can be very dangerous. Quick strike one now on Yasiel Gonzalez. 11 straight retired for Jorge Picardo. He is looking for the equivalent of 4 straight innings of outs, all in a row. And instead, he plunks Gonzalez right in the back. That one's gonna sting.
Yeah, wearing it in the numbers, and there's some laughs and some chuckles. That is probably the first ball that we've seen Picardo throw where he just didn't have his best location on it. Just ran it inside, and it's never a fun feeling.
And they're giving him some time to make sure he's good. It's especially, I mean, and right in the middle of the back isn't always the worst place to take it, but that doesn't mean it hurts any less. It definitely stings, and it actually went off the elbow, it looked like.
Hit the guard.
That should tell you how hard Picardo is throwing it, because it still was stinging.
He had the reaction beforehand. He knew he was going to get hit. He knew there's nowhere else to go except letting it come at you.
It's coming in way too fast to do anything else. And, you know, it's never fun to get hit, but at the same time, it's the first base runner that these Crocodiles have had since the 4th inning. So it's definitely necessary.
No point in holding the man on either. Just get your defense back and try to get that double play ball.
That's what they're looking for with Jose Noronha at the dish. First pitch strike in from Picardo. The 0-1. And here it is, ground ball to the left side, goes foul.
Just foul.
That would have been a tough location. That stayed fair. Well, Noronha just missed out on a home run his last time up. Just a few feet from that right field foul pole going the opposite way. And how cruel the game baseball is, he ended up striking out looking. But has an opportunity to keep the bases moving and start to chip away this massive lead the Dantos have built. 1-2. Instead, he fouls this one off. No, it's a swing and a miss, so another strikeout. 5th of the game for Jorge Picardo, and he just continues to roll.
Yeah, the hit by pitch didn't matter all that much. Goes right back to work against Noronha, and just there it is. It's another slider that just goes right down to the dirt. After seeing so many fastballs, you just get in dead red mode, and the spinner just comes out of nowhere.
Picardo, I believe, has pitched 4 1/3 to this point as this gets skied into the air and caught. And he has just given up the 1 hit, and that continues here. Another great inning for Jorge Picardo and the Dantos defense. Looking to add on more here in the bottom of the 8th inning and close the show when we come back. Today's game is brought to you by Jeremiah Johnson Brewing Company, built for the ballpark. Cold, crisp, and ready for game time. From Blonde Ale to Citrus IPA to Mountain Man Scotch Ale. Jeremiah Johnson Brewing Company, drink like you mean it. Well, the Dantos have certainly been playing like they mean it. There's the score, 16-6, 18 hits for the Dantos in this one. Big flies all over, including a Brandon Layton grand slam back in that 6th inning. Once again, the Cubans turning to a new man on the mound. It is Brian Arreos. Been seeing the bullpen being dipped into quite a bit from this Cuban team, just trying to find any sort of momentum to shut down this Dantos offense. It has been tough to do.
Yeah, they've just been able to build so much momentum, and it's not like from nothing. They're not really taking a whole lot of walks. Dantos have just walked 4 times in this game. It's been a ton of hits, as you mentioned, the 18 base knocks on the day so far. And they've just been able to keep stringing them together. It's been so many after another, one after another, just finding ways to get base runners, and then it's just the one big inning that they had in the 4th, and ever since then, they've never looked back.
They've been rolling, and it's been top to bottom. This one gets airmailed for 2-1. Every single member of this Dantos team with at least 1 hit. Almost every single one of them has crossed home plate. Emmanuel Trujillo, the only exception, and there's only 3 on this team that doesn't have at least 1 RBI. I mean, that is production to the fullest.
And Brandon Layton having 5 ribbies on the day so far. Grand slams help.
More than likely, he'll actually certainly will get another opportunity to go for that cycle. He is a triple shy.
You ever seen a cycle in your life, Colin?
Absolutely not.
That's me as well. Yeah, surprisingly. Of course you have.
It's a rare feat. Fun when it happens. So Rayo's going after Ruiz here. It's 3-2 count. Ruiz just fighting to stay alive. He's had a good game. A home run back in the 5th. A double in the 6th. A couple of RBIs, a couple of runs scored. And he thought he had ball 4. Instead, it's strike 3. Goes down looking. So Rayos finding success with the first batter he sees with a strikeout.
Yeah, it's the paint on the outside corner. It goes back with the fastball, and it starts about a ball off the plate, and then it runs right back onto the outside corner. Just freezes him.
It's a great location. Had him stunned the whole way. So it rolls back over Bismarck Rivera. 2 for 3 in this game, but he's been on base 4 times. Come across and scored 3 of them. One of the biggest bats so far in this Dantos lineup in this tournament. Gets crossed up there, swinging at a pitch that's low and away, and now 0-2. Looking for back-to-back Ks. Brian Rayos misses inside. Fans still on deck for both sides here, despite the deficit that the Cubans are facing. And here's one that's launched into left field, but does not quite have the distance. We've seen so many that have stretched in that direction. This one gets tarried to the warning track just shy of it, but he makes the catch. See a deep breath there from Brian Rayos. I mean, this man that's coming up right now, Brandon Layton, certainly with his grand slam in a lot of different fields across the nation and across the world, maybe wouldn't be a home run, but he got all the one he got.
Yeah, double, bounced into a double play, walked, hit by pitch, and a home run. So he will not hit for the cycle if he has the triple. It's
that's right.
Unfortunate case of bad handwriting.
I just went along with what you were saying, but you are right. He's reached 4 times, but twice was a hit by pitch, and there's the single. So now he is a triple shy of the cycle. but hard to think he's going to come back up in this game.
Well, the way we've been watching this game so far, and you just never know at this point.
That is true. I mean, they've hit around a couple of times. Seen 8 hitters come up.
In back-to-back innings, they had 8 men come to the plate.
There are 2 outs, though, but it is the heart of the order due up.
It's important for a scorekeeper to be able to have good handwriting, be able to read their own handwriting, Colin. That's probably the biggest takeaway to have from this tournament.
Well, we're all learning things as Alegría tries to go the opposite side. It's deep but foul.
Especially with the way these score lines go, guys hitting around it all the time. It's just, at this point, how do you keep a clean scorecard?
Can you imagine showing your book to somebody that's never kept a book before? And what they would think of all of this cryptic stuff you've put in?
Well, I mean, everyone does their scorebooks so differently, and oh boy.
Oh, man. Nobody over there covering first base. It was a throw over by Reyes. And it's going to be not just 1 free bag, but 2 free bags for Brandon Layton. So all of a sudden, a runner at third. And it's just getting bad to worse for the Crocodiles. Here's the look. I mean, nobody's standing over there. He almost threw it directly at Layton, and Reyes can't believe it. And it looks like something might be on with Layton here. He kind of stumbled a little bit going back to first when that throw over happened. And yeah, he's looking like he's limping around a little bit. He's getting some water. We've talked about the heat of what it's like in the field. A lot different than what it feels like up here in the booth.
Yeah, we get the wind blowing in, a little bit of AC as well. It's so much different down on the field, and at this point in the evening, it's cooled off. It's only 63 degrees at the moment.
Well, you wonder if this is some sort of a cramp. Well, this copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Baseball Champions League and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. Well, good news is Layton is staying in the game. So hopefully just a cramp or something that he had to get out, because that would be a huge loss for the Dantos if it was anything more serious.
Yeah, there's been so much concern about these players coming into the high elevation and such a high emphasis on hydration. That's why you see when you go into the dugouts, they have all these electrolytes waiting for the players.
Backhanded play by Sanchez in time from third base, and that is how the bottom of the 8th inning will come to a close. Crocodiles still chasing 10 runs, and they're down to their last 3 outs going into the top of the 9th. See if they have it in them when we come back. Facing 10 runs, gonna need something special. Starts with the 7, 8, 9 hitters and Angelio Vidier. It's a new man on the mound, Brian Torres. And we got another broken bat, but a line drive to second baseman Alegría, and that's one down quick.
That's so important to get that first out in the 9th inning. That's how everything settles in for you. And this is just another fastball, maybe a little bit of a cutter that's running on the outside corner. And again, just the firewood is an absolute commodity here inside Mexico City this tournament.
Might set a Guinness World Record for largest bonfire we're going to use with all these broken bats so far in the tournament. Luis Sanchez in now. Takes strike one. Something we haven't seen yet this game, though, Trevor. We're 5 for 5 so far. There has not been a thrown bat.
Now that you said it, here it comes.
See if we get it. Held on to that one, but fouled it off. It's 0-2. 5 games straight with at least one thrown bat.
I think, it could be something to just do with the way just you're starting out the season. You're just back into game speeds for the first time in a while.
This is Adrian Perez in as a pinch hit against Luis Sanchez. It didn't last long as he goes down by way of the K. Brian Torres looking good here to try to close the show in the 9th.
Liking the pace of this so far in the 9th inning. It is just a bunch of strikes. And how about Picardo and then in Torres right now? Those guys are just filling up the strike zone, and this has been the best relief performance we've seen in this tournament.
I'd go a step farther and say if Torres can get out of this unscathed, especially in 3 straight hitters, this is the best pitching performance we've seen in this tournament. Top to bottom between Leo Crawford, Jorge Picardo, and potentially Brian Torres. And now a 1-1.
And minus that 4th inning, which just, again, we've talked about it, happens in this tournament. But just quieting those bats ever since then. I mean, you've only had one base runner reach, and it was the hit by a pitch to Yasiel Gonzalez.
Well, 6 runs in this tournament is not a ton, and we've been seeing that time and time again. This one, though, drilled left field in the gap and through to the wall. On his horse is Terry, and he's able to reach second base, standing up with a double.
That first hit since the 4th inning. There was 5 hits in that 4th inning as well, Colin. So being blanked out until the bottom of the 9th inning down to your final out, it shows you still got the fight in you, but at the same time, it is certainly too little too late. But then again, baseball's a wild sport, and we talked about it with Chris Coast earlier. That last out, it's always the hardest one to get.
You have to get it. It's never over till it's over in baseball, no clock. That is only the 2nd extra base hit of the game for the Crocodiles. A double by Yasiel Gonzalez way back in the 1st inning. Swing and a miss. And down to the last bullet. Anibal Medina, the pinch hitter. And he's staying alive, and oh boy. We got a foul ball off the catcher, Leonardo Ortiz. Hopefully he's going to be all right.
Ooh.
Ugh.
There's no protection above the knee guards.
Not what you're looking for.
Especially if it's you're 1 strike away, too, from putting an end to this thing.
Yeah, just barely missed the pad. And it never feels good. He's going to walk this one off. Listen, they pad them all up, but it's not all padded, as you said, Trevor, and you got to be extra tough to be a catcher, especially at this level.
I mean, it just seems like the ball always finds a way to not hit the pads. It's the same exact way with hitters on the hitting guards. Like, you have that leg guard that goes up to your ankle or past your shins. And what is it? It's always the inside of your knee that gets hit, or it's your top of your foot that gets hit. It's never where the guard actually is. So then you decide, all right, I'm going to take the guard off. What's the point of it? And next thing you know, the ball's finding where the guard would be.
Well, it's good to see the appearance of the Dantos Magic Spray once again. Healing up that.
Stuff really is magical.
I mean, he's already putting his guards back on.
Do you think it would help our sore throats? Like, it wouldn't spray in your mouth, but like just right on your neck or something? Would that just relax us?
Yeah, maybe it would. Well, if you want to relax on Friday, games 7 and 8, and they are big ones. The Cougars versus this Crocodiles team we're seeing. 2 p.m. Eastern time. Cougars at 2-0, looking like it's going to be 1-1 for the Crocodiles. And then our nightcap, it's a big one. The Diablos against the Brothers. 9 p.m. Eastern time, game number 8 in this BCL. Floats it in and just misses. We are still down to the final out and potentially the final pitch of the game. And there is Annabelle Medina. Again, no hits yet in this. His premiere here in this BCL tournament. Popped up into right center, shallow. And there's the catch made by Benjamin Alegria. And that is how the game will close. Trevor, it started off close. Back and forth action between this Cuban team and the Nicaraguan team. Again, a lot of pride for both sides, but at the end of the day, Dantos started stringing it together in a big way. And overall, the unit of Leonardo Crawford, Jorge Picardo, and Brian Torres absolutely just shutting the door. Only 2 extra base hits in this game for this Crocodile team. It was absolute dominance.
Yeah, pitching side, Picardo was really the guy who you lean on going into this game. And you look at the way the starters rolled. The first few innings, it was fantastic, just the 1 run early on. But then it was the bat around 4th inning for the Crocodiles. And then you thought, all right, how are the Dantos going to respond? Well, they respond by scratching 6 of their own, 3 the next inning, 5 after that, and then a lone run in the 7th inning. And they just walk away from this game pretty much rather unscathed. I mean, that 4th inning was a little bit treacherous, but after that, Dantos just took the bull by the horns, and they just really were able to wrangle themselves out of any sort of trouble. And this is where the tournament gets interesting. We go into Friday. We know who's at least number 1. We know who's number 2. The rest of it is the shuffle card game. Who's going to get the good hand from the blackjack dealer, and who's going to get the bust that ends up ending their tournament